Hello everybody, how are you? It's Leisa here. Let me just get organized with Facebook. Um, while I wait for a few people to come on, I will make sure on my phone that I am actually live. And if you're on, please do comment and say hello. That would be amazing. Facebook always makes these screens look so weird compared to what I can see on my actual laptop screen. So I'm just going to tag everybody. So even though we don't have a sale tonight, we are going to have a chat. So I shall wait for a few people to come on. Say hello, please, if you're there. My phone tells me that 5 people are on, but my computer is telling me that nobody's on. So say hi in the comments. And I apologise for my background. So I am here in Daylesford in my little caravan tonight. So some of you may have seen my post a couple of weeks ago about my magic tree. And I've been busy with my head down working since I got here this afternoon, and I haven't even been out to have a look at the full moon. So I'll go out and sit under the tree for a few minutes and hopefully see the beautiful tree. And the moon, of course. Hi, Jen Hall. How are you? Nice to see your name on my screen. So if you didn't see that post about my magic tree, do go back over into Soul Magick. I know some of you don't cross over between my business page, which is Soul Magick with Leisa, and the Crystal Boutique, but go back over to Soul Magick and read my post about my magic tree. And I'm sorry, I've got lots of reflection on my glasses as well. Hi Pam. Hi Nikki. Nice to see you. You see your names even though I can't see your face. That's the worst thing about Facebook Live, that I like to see your faces. So yeah, I thought I would come on tonight. My fatigue of running Crystal Lovers Chit Chat every month is kind of gone, which is amazing. And so I thought I might come on and chat to you, show you just a couple of my favorite master crystals, and tell you about I've made a random decision this afternoon that I might run my my master crystals workshop in sort of at the end of September. So if you're interested in learning more about master crystals, I will give you a code tonight. So when the enrollments come up, you are able to use that code that will give you a discount. And I'm offering a discount because I'm going to record, which I've done before, record the workshop and then cut it for the couple of times that I've run it before, and join them together and make it into a nice course that you can do at any point in time. So oh, there comes all the comments. Hi Lynn. Hi Louise. How are you? So let me start with the first one and get my crystals organized. If you've got any questions about master crystals, and I know, I sell master crystals, I'm always on the hunt for them, and, write little bits of information in the descriptions on the sales, but, that information is obviously very limited. And also, some of you may not know, so hi Jane, some of you who are watching this replay or even buy crystals from me may not know that I'm more than a crystal seller. So hi Karen, how you going? I'm more than a crystal seller. I don't just, selling crystals is just kind of the buy process, I suppose, of what I actually do with the crystals, which is as a crystal healer. So I work with crystals every day of my life, either personally as well as with my clients. They're powerful, powerful tools. And you know, my aim is always to educate people to get you to use crystals and to get the most out of the crystals that you buy, because I don't believe their role is just sitting on a shelf looking pretty. You know, if you come to my house, I have lots of crystals, obviously, because the crystal boutique is in my house. But all the crystals that I work with and my personal crystals, as well as the boutique crystals, they are all have a job to do. They're all activated. They all buzz very, you know, their frequency is very high. And sometimes when people come and stay at my house, if they're not used to the crystal energy, or that they haven't been aligned to it, they kind of, you know, freak out a bit. And people always say, "Hi Kelly, hi Asha." People always say that in the room, actually they're not there anymore, but I used to have crystals, all my personal crystals, in a particular room that I work with. And on the back of that, on the back end wall of that, was our spare bedroom. And people always used to freak out and come out of that room all worried that there was, you know, ghosts and spirits and stuff like that, which of course they were just the crystal divas coming through the wall. So you know, my aim is always to educate people rather than sell you a crystal that you will never, you know, use or get any benefit from. So I've picked 4 tonight. I'm not at home, so I've picked 4 crystals that I brought with me, and 4 of my favourite crystals that I like to work with. So what master crystals are a unique formation of crystal that come out of the ground in the way that they are. So sometimes they can be polished in their beautiful original shape. Hi, Rhonda. They can be polished in their beautiful shape, or most often they're actually just raw. And sometimes they look like they're polished just because they're so unique and they're so beautiful and very powerful. So the master crystals that we're talking about, they are not cut crystals. They are come straight out of the ground as they are. The first one, which I've sold a few of over the little while, and hopefully you can see behind my, and for those who've just come on, I'm in my little caravan tonight, so apologies for the background. The first one I brought on to see for you to look at is the Phantom. So can you see, this is like the most perfect phantom. Can you see the triangles and a shadow inside of that crystal? Isn't it perfect? It's actually a little, it's a smoky quartz, which is a little bit hard to see in this light. And this is my personal crystal, my personal favorite crystal of a phantom. So what's a phantom? So a phantom is when the growth of the crystal starts and stops. So the crystal's growing, and then it stops growing, and then the environment around where that crystal is growing changes. So what that means is that the liquid and the minerals flowing through the water, perhaps, or through, you know, the volcanic, if there's a volcanic eruption and things like that, wherever the crystals are growing, the environment changes, and it forms like a layer on top of the crystal already growing, and then eventually the crystal starts to regrow. And you can see sometimes the phantom will just have one shadow inside of it, and then other times, like this one, I think there's 2 perfectly formed one, but there's probably lots in between as well. And sometimes you might have 3 or 4 very distinct shadows inside of the crystal, and they almost always grow in the same shape as the crystal, as the end crystal. And this one's actually polished, and you can see that the base has been, sorry, trying to get it into the camera, the base has been cut off, which is a bit disappointing, but you know, that's how sometimes you know, they come, because who knows what the bottom of it looked like. So what a phantom does, it's all about growth and evolution. So you can tell by the way that it's grown. So it started, stopped. And that's really how our spiritual journey goes, doesn't it? So we have a growth spurt, and we up level, and we, you know, we move, we have those ascension symptoms, and we move to a new part of our spiritual journey where we understand different things, and we like different things, and we communicate in a different way. And then we have a period where it kind of sets in, and then off we go again. So what it really helps us do is break any negativity when we're in a positive flow. So I'll give you a great example for me at the moment. So some of you might have read my posts over the last couple of months about me moving beyond just working with clients in a one-on-one healing space. That, you know, many of my clients, like some of you, are in a process where you've done all these healing modalities and you want to actually start your business, or you're at the start of your spiritual journey and just kind of wanting to grow that further and get a better understanding of lots of different things. So hi Norman, how are you? So I'm, kind of in that, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I've got all my stuff, ready. And then I'm like, oh, I've got imposter syndrome. So I'm like, who am I? I don't know enough. I'm not good enough. All of the things that you guys have probably been through or going through, in your life at some point in time. So what the Phantom will help me do is kind of move past that negativity and back into that positive flow where I'm just, taking off and not stopping and not considering all of that, imposter syndrome and the I'm not good enough and that kind of stuff. Also, what it really helps you do is to go back and have a look at your past lives or your earlier life and help you with that healing. So for me, that imposter syndrome, and some of you may have experienced this, calling yourself a healer or stepping into a space where you might think people will judge you. So for me, it took a really long time to kind of say the words, that I'm a healer. It took me a really long time to say that, because I thought, God, who am I? What, who am I to be saying that that's what I am? That's your downfall. I'm sure it's many of our downfalls, Rhonda. And even still, I have those hang-ups. I don't work under a title of, a psychic medium. So I find it really difficult to use those words with people. So, and at some point in time, I've got to go back and have a look at either in past lives or my earlier life about where those fears come from and where where that healing needs to occur. So, many of us, you've probably heard things like, in past lives, we were medicine women and men, and witches and healers were, persecuted and stoned to death or hung and, set alight and all those kinds of things for doing what they do. So that's potentially come across from a past life into this life, either for you and or me, and that stuff needs to be looked at and healed. So that's what a Phantom helps you do. But you know what? It doesn't happen overnight. It actually takes quite a long time. Hi Raquel, how you going? Takes some patience when you work with a Phantom, because what it helps you do is look at things clearly, see where that patterning and that limiting belief and all of that stuff has come from, and then it does the healing. So some people, just go, oh, that's a pretty crystal, I'll put that down, because they're not really prepared to do the work with the crystal. Does that make sense? I hope so. So that's a beautiful Phantom, one of my favorites. And this one actually just happens to be a channeling dowel. So I hadn't planned to talk to you about a channeling dowel, but when I picked this up this afternoon, I remembered that it was a channeling dowel. So a channeling dowel is a crystal that has got, so this face here, you can see it in the light, it has got 7 sides. So if you can around from the bottom, and I can't do it backwards in the camera. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can count around. So it's got 7 sides, and then directly behind that 7-sided face is a triangle. And then next to the 7-sided face is another triangle, followed by another 7-sided face, triangle, 7-sided face. So it's 3 by 3, and that's what we call a channeling dowel. And a channeling dowel is where we can both connect in with our higher self or connect in with our spirit team, and also channel so we transmit information and we also channel the information back. So it's a really powerful crystal, this one. And I saw did I see Kelly, I think you must have deleted your comment. I saw it says take my money. This one's not for sale. I'm never selling it. I'll have to leave it to you in my will. So the next crystal I did bring to have a look at is actually a channeling crystal. So I sell quite a lot of these. So do Phantoms normally have a certain number of sides, or do they differ? They don't normally have, they come in, they usually, come into an apex, like a point, But no, they don't have any particular sides. I mean, a perfect master crystal or a perfect kind of point does have 6 faces on it, but if they're a master crystal, sometimes the formation means that they have a 7th face, which makes them, you know, a perfect specimen for a master crystal. But that's not the case for phantoms. They come in all sorts of, you know, different shapes and sizes. So the next one is a channeling crystal, and this is a cute little one. I love working with this little baby. It's quite cute, and this is actually one of my teacher crystals. So if you come and learn crystal healing with me, I usually hand this crystal around. So this one is not a channeling dowel, it's just a channeler. And I sell lots of these, and some of my suppliers who sell clear quartz, and not all of them do sell a lot of clear quartz, they try to take out the master crystals and put the price up of them. So sometimes, like compared to just a normal beautiful clear quartz crystal, a master crystal, if a supplier or a retailer can identify it, they hike the price up by, you know, in terms of kilos, probably a good anywhere between sort of $20 and $50 a kilo, which is ridiculous. So I'm always on the hunt for master crystals, and some of my suppliers who know what master crystals are, some of them don't, they get a bit annoyed with me because I find all of the beautiful master crystals in the buckets and buckets of clear quartz. So this one here is the channeling. So you can see just in the light that this face here, the main face of the crystal, has got 7 sides, and then behind it, directly behind it, it has got a tiny little triangle. So what these beautiful crystals do is they help us connect in firstly with our higher self, and then beyond our higher self, they help us connect in with our spirit teams. And the way that you would use one of these is to, well, there's a few ways. You could either hold it in your right hand and rub your thumb on the channeling face, or you could put it up against your third eye and meditate. Okay. Excuse me. And you could lay down and breathe and lay with the crystal either on your heart, so lay with the channeling face on your heart and or on your third eye, depending on, you know, how big the crystal is and what you'd like to achieve. So the combination of the 7 faces is all about you know, the seeker of truth and the mystic and that kind of thing. So they're used for, excuse me, sore throat, and also the students. The 7 represents the student. So it's all about learning more about yourself first of all, and then connecting in with your spirit team and channeling information from them. A lot of the people that have written about channeling crystals before always warn about people kind of just skipping past their higher self and heading straight up to their spirit team, because really we already have all of the information that we need inside of us, and our spirit team is actually an aspect of us anyway. So that's what the channelings do. And again, beautiful crystal. I've got lots of these and I'm always on the hunt for them. And recently I got a really beautiful big one that's sitting underneath my healing bed at home. And when I was not on the hunt for a new crystal to add to my collection, but when I came across this one, it was like talking to me, and I was like, oh, okay, you're coming home with me. So, which was really good and perfect. So oh, sorry, that's my basket that I was originally going to use to hold my laptop up, but I didn't need it. So if you've just popped on, do say hi to let me know that you are there. If you're watching the replay, do let me know that as well. And of course, if you have any questions, do ask in the comments. So the next crystal, which one will I pick? The next one I might choose is the window. So this is one of my all-time favorite crystals, and I'm really attached to this crystal, and it also has, hi Belinda, how are you? It also has a sister, which is currently not in my collection, but I'm hoping a lot that it comes back to me. It's very special, the one that's its sister crystal, and this one, oh, just every time I hold it and look at it, just, you know, has so many different beautiful things about it. But it might look a little bit ugly on the screen. So let me turn it around. So this one's big natural one. Looks a bit polished, but it's completely natural. I'm just trying to find it so you can see the window. So see this shape here? It's a bit hard to get in the light. There we go. Oh, that's a good shot. So a perfect triangle in the light there. And this one also has another little face here, which is called a parallelogram, if you remember that from school. And I'll talk about that second. But the window here, the diamond shape, is the hero of the crystal. And I sell some of these as well. And to be a true window crystal, the crystal would have 7 faces. So Kelly asked a question a little while ago about the number of faces in a phantom, which doesn't matter. Hi Bettina, how are you? But the window crystal would have 7. And the window face, if I can get that back in the light, would be the 7th face. Okay. So that's how these work. So what does a window do? When you look at a window, what does it do? First of all, you can see out. Okay, so you can see out at the opportunities that are in front of you. So if you're feeling a little bit confused about your purpose or your path, or if you've got a decision to make, for example, you could use the window to help you see out and into the future for your opportunities. Okay, you could also see into the window and go backwards into your past to see what needs to be healed in order for you to move forward. Okay. The other thing that the other thing that a window does is it reflects. Okay, so it will reflect back to you your mirror. Okay. Hi Amanda, how are you? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to send you a video. I'll do that tomorrow for you. So the window will reflect to you. Now, the theory is that you will only find a window crystal that has got 7 faces when you are really truly ready to have a look at yourself. Okay, so when you're ready to look at yourself and face your shadow. Okay, but I always like to use the word bullshit when I talk about windows. So when you're ready to look at your own bullshit, you will come across a window crystal that is a genuine window crystal, where that window is the 7th face. And it's not for everybody, because not everybody wants to face their shadow. Not everybody wants to do that work. So it's a really beautiful crystal to work with, and there's many different ways that you can work with it. One of those ways is to, again, hold it up to your third eye. You can also hold it to your heart, and you can also scry with it. So you would sit and lower your gaze and look into the window. And of course, if you're not attuned to the energy of crystals, or you have never done that process before, it may not happen, and probably won't happen really quickly. It'll take, a little while to practice. So even up to 2 or 3 weeks would be my suggestion to somebody who's never done that process before, to look into the window and sit and meditate with that window and scry for as long as it takes for you to see your reflection. Does that make sense? Love that crystal. So this one, it's just so beautiful. You can't see the beauty on camera, but it's a really special crystal. And as I said, I'm waiting for the sister crystal to come back to me at some point in time. Whether it will or not, I don't know. So the next one and the last one that I brought along to talk to you about is the one that is called an Isis formation. And I do sell quite a lot of these Isis crystals. And again, my suppliers are always a little bit grumpy when I went, excuse me, when I find them, because they've not found them before me. So an Isis crystal, see if I can get this one in the light. Oh, it's a bit hard. So this face here that I haven't got my finger on, this one here has got 5 sides on it. So, oh gosh, the backwards with the camera is ridiculous. So it's got a straight line at the bottom, and then 2 parallel lines that kind of meet, or the same length, and then two more parallel lines that move up into the apex of the crystal. And this is what we call an Isis formation. Now, the Isis formation is actually goddess Isis, so it carries the energy of the goddess archetype. And what that means is that it's full of compassion and mercy and self-love. It's a really, really deeply healing crystal. So if you're moving through, a process of moving grief out of your system, out of your body, out of your life, then one of these is absolutely perfect for you to use. If you have, grief is the best way to put it. If there's any really deep emotional healing that you need to do from your childhood, from your early days, even from a relationship breakup, for example, a death in your family of a loved one, then the Isis crystal is amazing for you to work with. And the best way to work with an Isis crystal is to really hold it in your hand and up against your heart, and just lay for around about 20 minutes is a perfect time, just breathing in the energy and sending love back out to the crystal. And that's the best way to get the benefits. And the cells of your body will talk to the cells of the crystal, and they will have a conversation, and the healing will occur. Now, if there's lots of deep grief and deep emotional healing that needs to be moved, it will take a little while for you to do that, but 20 minutes every day, I promise you, if you do that, it will absolutely change your life. And it may take, you do it for as long as you need. It may take a week, it may take a month, it might even take a year. But I promise you that if you lay this on your heart for 20 minutes, concentrating on your breathing, sending and receiving love from the crystal, it will blow your mind. It's amazing. So let me read Kelly's question. Would it be okay to use a master crystal with another crystal or another spiritual tool? Or is it best to let them strut their stuff solo? I love the way you put stuff, Kelly. You could absolutely use it with another crystal. So, for example, you could use it. I would tend to use there's two answers. I would tend to use them on their own because they're very powerful tools. But if you wanted to, you could pair it with something else that might help you. Okay, so for example, I'll use the Isis crystal as the example. If you are using that to help you heal from grief, for example, you could create a beautiful crystal grid and sit inside of that with your Isis crystal as the anchor crystal, or you could create a little grid on your chest as the example, on your heart chakra. And the crystals that you would include in that for grief might be things like the Apashtiya, rose quartz, any of the beautiful green or pink crystals, and also more clear quartz to help you direct the energy in and out of the grid. So yes, you can absolutely use them with other crystals, but I probably wouldn't, and I never have, so I'm not saying I would never, but I've not used two master crystals in a healing process at the same time, because they're very powerful. I hope that makes sense. So they're the beautiful crystals that I brought with me to talk to you about tonight. And master crystals, there's quite a few master crystals. There's probably about 12 to 15 different master crystals, and some of them I feel are more powerful than others, and that's just because of the work that I've done with them. But also, one crystal can have multiple master formations, which is, powwow boom. And of course, you're going to use all of them at the same time. But there's a lot to learn about them, and they are really powerful tools for you to use personally, as well if you are a healer of some description and want to use those with clients. You don't necessarily have to lay crystals on people's body for them to get the best benefit out of them. Say, for example, if you were a counsellor, you could have a master crystal in your room where you work with people to counsel them. and I know that's sometimes a little bit forbidden, but you know, a crystal as a beautiful display, there's nothing wrong with. You can activate that crystal and set it, you know, to work. But of course, you've got to remember to cleanse them after each kind of, you know, time that you're using them. So as I said, I made a random decision today to run the Master Crystals course online. It has been a 3-week course in the past, but it will now be a 4-week course. And we learn about I think 10 or 12 of the Master Crystals, and we connect in with them in a really deep way. Hi Fiona, how are you? We connect with them and journey with them, get to know them. And of course, it doesn't matter if you don't have the master crystals that we learn about, because you can then set about, you know, collecting the ones that you feel you might get the best benefit from, or the most, you know, healing work from, because it's actually working with the consciousness of the crystals. So we work with the divas of the crystals if you don't have the physical crystals, and or the crystal cards. So are masters always transparent, or can they be opaque? Great question. Most of them, because they're quartz crystals, so most of the master crystals are either clear quartz, smoky quartz, some amethyst, some citrine. They will be mostly transparent. Master crystals don't come in other types of crystals, so they're not rose quartz, they're not, you know, the agates, or, you know, labradorite or anything like that. So it doesn't matter, you know, how they're cut, they still don't carry the energy of a master crystal. So we're talking about clear quartz, smoky quartz, some amethyst, and some citrine. I don't think there's any more. Yep, pretty much that's it. Good question. So as I said, I'm going to open up. I haven't formalized the date yet because I've got a really busy September, but it will probably be the last week of September, and I'm offering a 20% discount for anybody who might watch this video, and that discount will be VIP 20. So if you're interested in doing the Master Crystal Workshop, which is a 4-week workshop online with me in person, write that code down. So it's VIP 20, and I'll type it into the notes for you. So when the time comes, and you want to enroll, you can use that. It's actually not a very expensive course. I can't remember how it is, but I don't even, it's not very expensive at all. So you can tell that it was a random conversation that I had with myself on the way to Dalesford. Actually, no, it was earlier this morning because I brought my crystals with me, so it was a little bit earlier today. So and even for those of you who have done my crystal healing workshops with me before, I think that there's a whole lot more to know. We only kind of skim the surface of the master crystals. Hi Simone, how are you? We only skim the surface of the master crystals, but this is, you know, a deep dive into working with the master crystals. What's the time commitment? Perfect question. So the time commitment is 2 hours a week over 4 weeks. And of course, it's not an accredited course or anything. So if you weren't able to make it, then you don't have to come. You can watch the replay. They're always available. And of course, there's a workbook with notes that comes with it as well. So even if you don't want to watch it live, you don't have to. And I'm offering that discount because I am going to be recording, which I always do anyway, going to be recording this workshop with the view of making it a what we call an evergreen course a little bit down the track, which is where people can enroll and do the course at any time they like. It'll be me live, but I won't be live there with the people doing the course. So you guys will get me, spend 4 weeks with me, which is, well, I don't know, it might be exciting. So the end of September, the information will be out really soon, and we'll get it out to everybody who's normally buys crystals. Occasionally, I put when I sell the master crystals in the drops, I you know offer this course for free as well. So keep your eye out for that. Just uni moving out of the shop around the same time. Okay, cool. Yeah. So end of September. Actually, let me have a look at my calendar now. I'll tell you approximate date. So around about the 25th of September, maybe. Mm, mm. So if I do it, run it for 4 weeks, that will go into 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's okay because the following week I'm in Bali, so we can't run it while I'm in Bali. All right, so fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And for anyone who missed my live a couple of weeks ago, I've decided to only have a crystal drop every second week. It's, I've been having a sale every week for the past, I don't know, 4.5 years or something like that. And, trying to get other things done because one crystal sale per week takes a lot of work, as some of you might imagine. Yes, Simone, absolutely. We can send you an invite, not a problem at all. I also have a memory like a goldfish, so anyone who knows me well will attest to that. So I've got a shocking memory. But and in fact, I remember when I was a young person in my very early 20s when I was teaching computers technology. I had students from all ages, from 15 up to about 82 was my oldest one. And my 82-year-olds used to tell me that I had the worst memory for a young person. So I hear you. All right, lovely people. I'm going to let you go and head off and go to bed. And there is a crystal. Well, there is a crystal for that, but clearly I'm not ready to change my ways. It's a bit like people who are always late. I've got a really bad memory, always. But if you ask my partner, I can remember a conversation from, 10 years ago. So I hope you all have a lovely night. I'm going to head outside and sit under my magic tree and have a chit chat with the moon and the tree. And I'm sending you all love and blessings and hope to see you all soon, if not in the crystal drop, in the Crystal Masters workshop. Much love.